Hey, delighted to have you here as always. So I'm going to tell you about the story of how I turned £2 into over £100,000 of recurring revenue for my freelance business. Now, the way that I did that was through Google Ads. So this is still an underutilized strategy for specific niches within different freelancing sectors. So what you're going to want to do for your new freelance business is focus on a specific niche, and I will link to the video which talks you through that process if you haven't identified what that niche is for your business already. Now, assuming you have, or you've come back from that video and you have a clearer idea, now you're going to want to market to your target audience. Now, there's many ways to win your first new client, and again, I'll link to the video of how about to do that, and that isn't going to be through this method. This is for after you've been working for a period of time, you have some case studies, you have your website set up, and you have a bit of a presence online. Now you're going to start to market using Google Ads. Now, the reason why Google Ads is so effective across the board, really, but in this specific video for freelancers, of course, is because there is intent behind the search. So you can advertise on Facebook, you can even send an email out to your newsletter list, you can post on Twitter, but when you do all of those things, you don't know for certain if anybody has any interest in what you're doing. You can take an educated guess, and it can be quite likely due to the audience and the fact they've taken previous actions, but you don't know for sure. However, on Google, if someone's searching for, we'll use the generic term freelance graphic designer, it's highly likely they're searching for a graphic designer to do some work for them. There are a few other reasons why they might be, but in the main, that's what they're looking for. So that's why Google search and Google Ads in this case is very effective, because there is that clear intent behind the search. So if you get someone to click your ad for that keyword when they land on your website, as long as the next part's right, which we'll come to in a moment, the chances are when they inquire, they genuinely have a legitimate business need, and there is the opportunity, because you're going to have to close the deal, but the opportunity for you to win a new project or client. So in this case, I had focused very specifically on doing SEO as a freelancer for agency businesses who weren't obviously SEO agencies themselves. Of course, they wouldn't do that. So it's a very specific niche I was working on, and this is also within London at the time. So I was running ads with the keywords including SEO consultant for agencies, and that was like media agencies, ad agencies, different types of agencies, right? So all these very specific list of keywords. Now, someone clicked my ad, and the cost per click was around £1.80, so call it £2. And obviously, I'm tracking these things from the back of clicking that ad. I had a call, set up a meeting, went through and did an agreement with the client, and they've been a long-term client with several £1,000s worth of projects and retainers, and as I say, ongoing to this very day actually with my new agency business. So off the back of that simple £2 click, I converted that into over £100,000 of recurring revenue. Excuse me. And you can do that too. However, Google Ads is very competitive, and if you don't focus in on a specific niche with those hyper-targeted keywords, what you'll do is you'll get lost in the mess. You will spend a fortune, and you won't convert very well, and it will not be an effective channel. And what a lot of people do is write off Google Ads as a channel for their freelance business. It's too expensive. I don't understand how to do it. It's not effective. It absolutely can be effective if you set things up correctly. So what you need to do, as I say, go back to your niche, and then you're going to go through and outline what are the search queries people would enter in my niche if they were looking for my service. So again, if you're a designer, a developer, whatever it might be, a marketer, what would they search into Google? And that's my favorite part of the keyword research process, just to think about it in your mind. Go through the lists of keywords you think they would search, and then you can go and enter them into Google yourself. Get a feel for the search results that come up. Are they similar to your freelance business? So would it make sense for you to be among those rankings, basically? Are other people advertising on it? So without having to pay for any tools or do any in-depth research, you can already get a bit of a feel for what it's like. And then if you set up the Google Ads account for your freelance business under what's called the keyword planner, you can then enter those keywords to get an idea of the cost per click. As I say earlier, that £2 click turned into £100,000 plus revenue for me. So you can start to see what is the cost per click for those keywords, and then off the back of that, start to put together a plan for your campaign and have a budget. I suggest you want to be looking at a minimum spend of £500 per month at the start, just to get yourself going, get some data in. And obviously what you'll find is you've spent 500, then you can review how many leads you had in, how many new won business you've had, and you can work out the ROI on that to see if it's effective for your freelance business. But focus on your niche, get the right keywords, and then you've got to create compelling ad copy. Now, obviously, if you're a copywriter selling copywriting services, you're off to a flyer. But if you do any creative roles, hopefully you can create some engaging ad copy. And it's absolutely crucial that when they click, they go through to a landing page which matches the search. So don't just send them to your homepage, to your contact page. Have a page which is all about the service. So go back to my example of how I did this. SEO consultant for agencies is when they searched for that, they landed on a page which was bespoke about SEO for agencies, how I could apply that, how they could use it, what benefits they had, some testimonials from other agencies that I'd done SEO work for, and off the back of that led to the inquiry. But you can see why it's very compelling. It matches exactly what they're looking for. It has credibility. And then, as I say, they then want to convert into a lead. And then I go through the sales process, which again, if you want to look at the video on my sales process, I talk you through the steps of how best to go about closing a deal from a lead like this. So that's how I turned £2 into an excess of £100,000 recurring revenue. I'd love to hear your thoughts on if you are able to achieve similar success, or if you have any questions about this. I'll be very happy to address them. So ping me a comment below, or send me an email on the contact section. Thanks everyone, and I will see you on the next one.